Hello, I'm going to show you exactly how I got my Fallen Saber GM solo. So if you want to try it solo as well, or you're looking to find some tips and strats for this GM, stay tuned. I'm going to go over the strats first, then the loadouts, and I will also have the video sections with timestamps if you're looking for some specific encounters. When spawning into the GM, you have to spur through the first section. There are multiple paths to take. This is the one that I use, and there are no ads shooting me. At the Warsat, there are two different ways to do this, legit or cheese. I'll go over legit version first, and then the cheese. The legit version, you want to make sure you get off the Warsat point every so often. The longer you stand on it, the more ads spawn. Ads will spawn depending on the capture number you reach. For example, when you reach number 33, the overload drops down. 35, the ship disappears. 39, the next two ships come. 53, the barrier spawns. 64, the ships disappear. 70, the last ship appears. 77, the overload drops. And 100, all ads disappear, except for the champions. Those are the key numbers when something happens when capturing a point. However, there are tons of ads that drop between those numbers. So if you are doing this legit and you're not being too aggressive, definitely don't stand on a point for too long. Whenever the ships appear, make sure to shoot the turrets because they will two-shot you. I like to use my heavy on them just to get rid of the turrets as quickly as possible. As for a hiding spot, you can chill in the area where you come from when you first run into the Warsat and shoot everything from a distance. Be careful with the captain though, he does like to push up. Now, if you are wanting to cheese, all you have to do is grab a sitting emote like this, run up to the Warsat, and use the emote like you're sitting inside it. This allows you to not be seen by the enemies. You can just capture until 100 and then kill the champions you need to kill. Also, fun fact, in this GM you can skip one champion if you wanted or needed to and still get platinum. In the bunker, I push immediately into the hallway room on the left. You could also chill behind the two boxes when you enter, but there are a lot of snipers to easily take you out. If you do go inside this room, the exploding shanks and maybe a few ads could follow you inside it, so please be careful on that and take them out as quickly as you can. There are going to be some ads that spawn inside your room as well, but it should only happen twice. Now, depending on what character or subclass you run, you could either push the group of ads with the barrier and the overload, or you can take it slow. With my character, I pushed with my strand super, which was easy due to suspend. What you could also do is try to get the barrier to pop his shield from a distance, stun him, and kill as many of those snipers as you can. The snipers are the ones that are very annoying. You can either go for the overload or the barrier. I like to go for the barrier since he likes to protect other enemies. And once that barrier is down, I run back into the room because more ads will spawn, this time being a lot of sniper shanks and another overload. When all these ads are down, you have to open a fuse box and shoot it, which spawns more ads. Same as before, I run into the room for cover, this time having exploder shanks that like to follow you, so be careful on that. You also have to take care of two more overloads. Alright, the arc charge room can be very scary, at least for me, and there are several ways to complete this. First, don't forget the two snipers on the other end. The main part you want to know in this is that you want to slide run, slide run, slide run, and keep that rotation going. This allows you to keep up that momentum, and you will pretty much almost be as quick as the electric charges. As you can see, I was using the slide run strat, but wasn't quick enough to get past the enemies. However, you can kind of tank their explosion if you run really quickly past the exploder shank. If you have arc buddies, suspend, or invis, they're gonna make it a lot easier to get past the enemies for you, but if you don't have them, I would just run as quickly as you can, or maybe step to the side somewhere and try and find a different path within those next few seconds. Lastly, a really big tip is that you can actually use your abilities while holding the charge. The second bunker room, I like to keep my distance. A lot of these ads like to push up on their own, and I just kill them as they get close. You'll first have a barrier and an overload. I like to kill a barrier first because once you do that, the other two overloads spawn and the barrier will not be there to protect them the entire time. In the room before boss, if you like to be aggressive, then definitely go for it. If not, I like to stand in this back room and shoot everything from a distance. The snipers hurt the most, and the barrier can be very annoying with the constant hiding. So whenever you get a good angle on a barrier, I would just use a ton of heavy before he starts hiding again, or definitely focus on stunning the barrier so you can can shoot the snipers out because their snipes do hurt a ton. After you've killed those ads, you'll have 3 overloads waiting on the left side for you to kill. Alright, in the boss room, I've got quite a few tricks to make it easier. When a boss phase starts, stand on the right side of the pillar for the best cover. If you watch the boss's movement, it kind of copies mine. When I stand behind a pillar and move more towards the right of the pillar, the boss also tries to push close to me on that side. However, if he gets too close, I just move a bit to the left of the pillar and the boss will try to move to the left side as well. Kind of hard to explain, but I hope this shows it easier. This allows you to have a big control on the boss's movement because he can push all the way up to where I'm standing and he can stomp or snipe me. The shanks that I'm shooting at will constantly spawn, so here's me doing a little damage on the boss with Laminate. Once you have pushed the boss, you will get shanks and a barrier that you need to kill. Try not to have the boss see you because the snipes pretty much one-shot you. For the second phase, you can still control the boss's movement with the pillar, and when you push the boss away, you can see that his sniper turret has been shot off, which means he can no longer snipe you. For this part, you're going to get a barrier with snipers and exploding shanks, so definitely be careful on those. Once you get close to killing the barrier, keep in mind you want to move to the left side of the room, because where you're standing at right now, this place is going to get electrified, so we want to make sure we move to the left side either before the barrier is killed or right after. Behind this is where I like to stand for cover. The boss doesn't push yet, and the exploders spawn from middle and right side of the room. Also, the exploders like to drop quite a lot of heavy if you're low. Once the boss's health has been pushed to the last bar, this is where you go all out with everything you have. I took this pretty slow, but if you move from side to side of the room, you can see the boss takes his time to catch up with you, giving you enough time to shoot snipers if you have to. However, most supers will give you extra resilience, meaning if you see his health being pretty low, you can just pop your super and try and kill him. I tested it out with my Titan Strand, and the boss's stomp takes down a little less than half my health, which is enough to use super damage for a bit. Alright, now we're going to get into some builds. Due to this GM being easier than others, there are so many builds to use and have fun with, so definitely choose the one that works for you. I'm just going to list you quite a few in case you're interested. First up, we have Titans. Titan Strand with the Abeyant Boots, which allows you to spread more suspend from the barricade. You'll want to use Rally Barricade, Jump of Preference, Frenzied Blade, and Shackle Grenade. For Aspect, Into the Fray, which gives you Woven Mail on Super, or Destroying a Tangle. And your melee recharges quicker while Woven Mail is active. Also, Drenger's Lash, which allows you to send out the suspending stuff from the barricades. For Fragments, I have Mind for class ability energy when killing a suspended, Wisdom for an orb when killing a suspended, Warding for Woven Mail when grabbing an orb, and Continuity for a longer suspend, unravel, or sever. Here are also the artifact mods that I use, and here are the armor mods that I use. Titan Arc with Hoil, which charges your 2 abilities quicker that you did not use first. And your grenade and melee do more damage. You'll want to use Rally Barricade, Jump of Preference, Thunderclap, and Pulsenade. For Aspect, I use Touch of Thunder, for better Pulsenades, and Knockout for buffing your melee after wounding an ad. For Fragments, Resistance, which makes you more resistant when nearby enemies. Ions, which gives Ionic Trace when killing a jolted ad. Shock, Grenades jolt ads, and Magnitude for a longer grenade duration. Here are also some artifact mods and armor mods that I would use. Titan Void is also very useful in this GM. It's going to be the same build as the one from the Arc Hoil. However, for the super subclass, you can choose your own super, Rally Barricade, Jump of Preference, Shield Throw, and Vortex. For Aspect, control Demolition to make enemies volatile with a Void ability, causing them to explode, and gives you healing if you're nearby. Next aspect is Bastion to gain Overshield from Super and Barricades. For Fragments, Remnants for longer grenade, Undermining to weaken ads with the grenade, Starvation grants Devour from Orb or Breach, and Persistence for longer Overshield and Devour. Artifact mods, you can use anything that helps out with your Void build, and the armor mods are going to be the same as my Titan Arc. Next up, we have Warlocks. I have 3 arc builds for this one, where only the exotic armor changes because they're all pretty cracked. First, Vesper, which releases arc shockwaves from the rift and blinds enemies. The rift also charges faster when you're near the adds. For the subclass, Chaos Rage, Healing Rift, Jump of Preference, Chain Lightning, and Pulsenade. For aspects, Arc Soul for Arc Buddies to help kill, and Electrostatic Mind, which creates ionic traces on Arc ability, jolted, or blinded add kills. For fragments, Shock, so grenades jolt targets, Resistance to be more resistant when near enemies, Vaults to become amplified on finishers, or you can use Ions, which gives you ionic traces on jolted adds, and Amplitude, which makes an orb when killing adds while amplified. For the artifact, use anything that helps you with arc, and for mods on the armor should be anything to help with charging abilities. Now you can use the exact same build as the Vesper, except with the different exotic armor piece. The other exotic armor pieces would be with the Fallen Sunstar helmet, which makes your ionic traces move faster and grant double ability energy, or Crown of Tempest, which increases ability recharge on ability or jolt kills. Lastly, Hunter. I have 2 builds for the Hunter. The first one would be Void Hunter with Graviton Forfeit, which gives you longer invis, melee recharge is quicker while invis, as well as more recovery and reload speed. For super, I use Mobius, Marksman for faster cooldown, Jump of Preference, Smoke Bomb for invis, and Vortex Grenade. For aspects, I have Vanishing Step to become invis when dodging, and Trapper's Ambush to use Quick Fall Dive for longer invisibility. The fragments I use are Obscurity to become invis on finishers, Persistence, longer invis, Overshield, and Devour, Undermining, Grenades weaken the adds, and Starvation. Picking up an orb or void breach gives you Devour. Here are my artifact mods, which should be a lot of void mods, and here are my armor mods to regain my invis as quick as I can. The next hunter build is Strand Hunter with the 6th Coyote, which gives you a second dodge that you can use for extra suspending. For super, we have Silk Strike, Marksman Dodge, Jump of Preference, Threaded Spike, and Shackle to suspend. Aspects are Widow Silk to give you an extra grenade charge for more suspend, and Ensnaring Slam to allow you to dive down and suspend all nearby adds. For fragments, Generation, dealing damage generates grenade energy, Continuity for longer suspend, unravel, and sever effects, Mind to get class energy when killing a suspended add, and Wording, which gives you woven mail when picking up orbs. For the artifact, anything that has to do with strand is good. I didn't use any strand weapons, but they would definitely do well on this build. And here are my armor mods. Again, there are so many different fun builds you can use, but those were just some that are really good for this GM. I hope this guide helps you complete your solo GM or showed you a few tips and tricks to make it feel even more easy. Thank you for tuning in and watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, that would be greatly appreciated, and feel free to give me some feedback on these guide videos as I'm fairly new.